we were basically, helped them launch ESPN Plus.
If he's talking to me, he's going to get his jaw broken. Wallahi, he's going to get his jaw broken.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside the Cage, where we bring you the latest and exciting updates of UFC. First, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Dana White shifts to streaming due to cable dispute. You know Dana White makes a big shot at the spinning wheel of the UFC ship. Well, for the first time this year, he spilled the beans on the business side of the octagon. So, back in 2019, UFC took a big turn from Fox Sports to ESPN/ESPN Plus. A pretty big deal, right? At that point, Dana White sat down for an exclusive chat with Yes Network and the Sports Money Show, and he spilled the tea on why they made this move and what's been driving the UFC's success since then. However, UFC is like a champ when it comes to streaming. They're putting on over 40 events annually, and you can catch all the action through streaming. Now, Dana White, who's been steering this ship for over 2 decades, broke it down. They've been partners with Endeavor since 2016, and after dealing with DirecTV, Dish Network, and in-demand pay-per-view, they found those old providers a bit of a handful.
Yeah, well, we've always been big risk takers, obviously back in the Fertitta days and now with the Ari and WME days too, because when you think about it at that time, when we did the deal with ESPN Plus, we were butting heads really badly with DirecTV and the cable systems out there.
He added,
they basically pushed us to the point. Ari and I had talked and we said, you know what? Let's just go ESPN streaming. We were going on to a streaming platform, which was incredibly risky at the time, even though you were doing it with Disney and ESPN. Massive risk. These guys are launching this thing. We were basically, helped them launch ESPN Plus. But we were so tired of the cable side and the satellite side being basically pigs.
However, there is cooking big among UFC and ESPN. Here's the deal. The UFC and ESPN are in this cozy partnership that's going to last until 2025. Now let's talk strategy. The UFC's been playing around with the pricing of those pay-per-views. Yep, they've been giving it a little jab every year. And you know what? There's a pretty solid chance they're going to keep riding that wave in the future. It's all about the marketing game here. So, whether you're already in on the action or just curious about how the UFC's playing the business game, one thing's for sure. They're not pulling any punches. Early PPV stats hint at huge success for Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. There are some recent developments held in the ring by one and only Jake Paul. So according to the man himself, his bout with Nate Diaz was a blockbuster hit, way beyond his clash with Tommy Fury in February. Now remember that sweet victory on August 5th? Jake, the problem child. Paul bagged his 7th career win with a unanimous decision against Nate Diaz. And guess what? Not only was the fight a fan favorite, but it also turned out to be a huge success on the business front. According to Jake's Instagram post, the Diaz fight didn't just double the pay-per-view buys compared to the Tommy Fury brawl, it more than quadrupled the pay-per revenue in the US. Now let's give credit where it's due. Nate Diaz brought some serious star power to the mix. After 15 years of rocking the octagon and making waves in combat sports, his reputation was solid gold. Do you remember his showdowns with Conor McGregor and Jorge Masvidal? Those fighters pulled in over 1 million PPV buys each. No wonder Jake Paul's raring for a rematch in the MMA world. He's putting out that $10 million challenge for Nate to step into the PFL Smart Cage. And it looks like Diaz is up for the challenge. But here's the plot twist. Diaz is eyeing that UFC trilogy with Conor McGregor. So the big question is, will he go for the cash and a rematch with Jake, or will he prioritize his octagon return? Either way, this is one tale of fists and fame that's got everyone on the edge of their seats. Guys, we'd love your support if you're enjoying the video. Just hit that subscribe button to motivate us to bring you more exciting content. Jake Paul calls Conor McGregor a drunk fool for disrespecting Anthony Joshua. Once again, fireworks are going to start between Jake Paul and Conor McGregor. Man, it's like a drama-filled boxing saga. Well, Jake Paul is not holding back, especially when it comes to Conor McGregor. After taking down Nate Diaz and making a recovery statement for his loss against Tommy Fury, Jake went all in on McGregor. However, their rivalry's been sizzling for years, and Jake's bout with Diaz ignited the whole thing again. After their fight, McGregor had some words for both Diaz and Paul, but Jake Paul made a hit back. You know, their feud didn't cool down there. Whereas McGregor joined Anthony Joshua in the ring after AJ's win over Robert Helenius. He brought his own victory pint of his forged Irish stout. But Jake Paul didn't let that slide, and that's why he called out McGregor on Twitter. The drunk fool trying to force AJ to drink his upstart beer brand is top-shelf disrespect, Jake wrote, before congratulating the British boxer on his win. Great win, champ, he said. Can you feel the heat between the two? Jake Paul and Conor McGregor are turning up the temperature, and fans are eating up the anticipation of these two possibly going head-to-head in the ring. Undeniably, it's a simmering pot of excitement, and we're all just waiting to see if it boils over into an actual showdown. Adesanya's fight. Warning, trash talk might lead to broken jaw. Strickland last but not least Israel. Adesanya isn't mincing words when it comes to his upcoming showdown with Sean Strickland. Recently, Adesanya is all set to defend his title against Strickland in the main event of UFC 293. And guess what? It's all going down on September 9th at the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney. Now here's the juicy part. Adesanya and Strickland crossed paths at the UFC 276 press conference, and let's just say Strickland brought some serious verbal firepower, while Adesanya gives him a clear warning to not forget his ethics.
Just some loudmouth talking over and louder than you to try and seem like he's got something to say. He has nothing to say, really. He just wants to... Again, I know the guy. I've seen him. I've pressed him before. Actual. So he's not like... It's for show, so I just know what it is. That's why most people are just excited about the press conference, because that's his spot to shine, I guess. But I can rap too. I just decide when I use my mouth and when I don't.
What about inside the octagon?
If he's talking to me, he's gonna get his jaw broken. Wallahi, he's gonna get his jaw broken. Like, because when you're talking, you're not focused on the task at hand. And yeah, look at Costa.
Whereas Adesanya has high goals for his upcoming bout. In fact, he is not holding back on his game plan. You know, he's got some serious ideas about how his showdown with Strickland is going to go down. Basically, he's going for the ultimate statement. Not just a win, but a finish that leaves no doubt about who's the boss in that cage. Adesanya's got his sights set on making a real statement with this fight, and he's ready to back it up with every move he's got. So, whether it's a long, punishing match or a flashy finish, Adesanya's got his game plan locked and loaded.
Bro, even if it's 5 rounds of just dominance and styling on him, display of martial arts, I'd be happy with that. But I just don't see that happening. I'm gonna knock him out. I just 1 + 1 is 2. I'm gonna knock him out.
In the twisting developments of the showdown, Adesanya is not taking light on Strickland, that's for sure. He's remembering how Michael Bisping pulled off that surprise KO against Luke Rockhold at UFC 199, and he's not about to underestimate Strickland. Interestingly, he is keeping his guard up.
I never underestimate anyone. I was even thinking about Bisping versus Rockhold. When Bisping finally beat him, took the fight on like 1.5 weeks notice or something, 2 weeks notice, and goes in there and shocks the world. That's a possible reality. My job is to make sure it's not in this reality. That's in another parallel universe, another timeline. Yeah, I'm very aware of the dangers that he brings and the stuff that he's really good at. So I don't take this lightly. Like, you guys have seen me. You see I've been working. I'm not underestimating this guy, but at the same time, I'm not overestimating him. And I want to make this look easy. I'm going to make this look easy because of the work that we're doing right now.
When it comes to Strickland, Adesanya doesn't see his skills as the biggest threat. It's something else that's got his attention.
He's got a nice guard. He's got a good jab. Also, just to be honest, just crazy. He's crazy. That's the X factor. But again, so am I.
So my fight fellows, mark your calendars for September 9th and get ready to witness the sparks fly when these two warriors step into the ring. All right, guys, that's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one. Until then, goodbye.